Hey everyone, it's Jason. Ooh, I'm already out of focus. Hey, it's Jason. Welcome to Massive Darkness 2 Unboxing. This is for a Heroes and Monster set expansion. The Druids versus Beelzebub. So all of the expansions for the game, except for like the main Heavenfall campaign and I think one other hero box, are all considered to be Kickstarter exclusive in one way or the other. Some were listed like this as like extra add-ons. Other ones were part of the original stretch goals that then they threw in boxes. But you're probably going to be able to find them from some different retailers that kickstarted it. So if you are looking for new classes, these are the ways to go. You can get some new heroes, plus some new monsters to fight. So we'll head into this. Alright, so of course you're gonna have to have at least the base game to play it. If you have Heavenfall, you'll get extra abilities for the extra characters. But we're gonna get two different new characters, or sorry, not two. We're gonna get one. We're gonna get the Druids in this one, which have some special abilities, which we'll go through, and then they have some special campaign stuff, and it just mentions how to add everything. All right, let's look at what we got. So I can find my character card. That would be cool. Alright, here we are. Alright, so we're going to get two new heroes in this game. We're going to start with Zuri, who's a druid. We're both druids, I guess. Oh no, I didn't take the tape off of this. There we go. Alright. Terrible start to a video, that's alright. Alright. Alright, so Zuri here has a couple of different special abilities. We'll go through all the heroes first, and then we'll go through the new monsters. So she has transformation. So you may return one discarded potion to your inventory. Oh, snakes can keep reusing potions over and over. That's super helpful. And their shadow abilities increase the animal form track by 1 and gain 1 mana. So she has 4 health and 3 mana. So the base game, you only get one of each different hero class, and then through the stretch goals, you'll end up adding more. And I think in each of the expansion packs, you get 2 heroes to go with them, just because that way you automatically just start with some options. So there is Zuri. And then let's look at our second one. We have Burko. Transformation. So transformation is kind of like shadow or action. When you do a special transformation ability, you get to do this. So his increases the animal form track by 2, and in the shadow, you may use the transformation effect of any form. So we'll have to see what those do, and then we'll come back to those. He has 5 health and 2 mana. So you can see how the different characters are going to play. So he's like a Tiger Man. And he's holding like a fireball. If we actually look at the back of his card, we're going to see that he's holding like a green fireball. And there's a little bit upgraded picture of hers. Alright, so how do druid cards work and the classes work? Druids are going to get this special board. So, like any other class, you can only have one of each class out because you only have one board. So you really have multiple characters. But you're going to have 3 different forms you can transform into. The eagle, the bear, or the raccoon. So it says, at the start of your turn, increase each of these tracks by 1, except for the current form. During your turn, once per round, you may transform. So what transforming lets you do is basically you take your hero minion, your character, off the board, and you replace it with one of the other forms. And then we're going to get these special little tokens. So we're going to have different little track tokens on here. So this is what they're referring to as the track. So when each of the cards mention going up a track, you can move each of these up. So if you start off and you're just playing as your regular character, so at the start of your turn, you can increase each one of these tracks by 1. So each one goes up to 10, or you might spend stuff to go down. And then on the bottom here, it's going to say, for the eagle, it says each one have a symbol and say when you can do it. So either attack, combat, or move. You can spend one of those points. At the beginning of your turn, you move each of these to 3. And then if you become one of those forms, you could then spend those during the attack, the combat, or move, depending on which form you're in, to use that special ability. So either re-rolling dice, ignoring a black die, or movement points. So each different animal has a different thing. The eagle is a ferocity track, and let's look at each one of these. So now if this was in the base set, we would have just gotten little minions, but instead we're getting full 3D models. So that's definitely cool. So these guys will replace them. So we'll have an eagle. We get a big old grizzly bear. And we're going to get a little tiny raccoon. And this is how they kind of compare to their other forms. So Zuri's a little bit, definitely a little bit taller. She's almost, not quite as tall as a bear. She's getting up there. She's a taller woman. Whereas Burko's a little bit smaller, a little smaller tiger guy. But yeah, so you start with one of these forms. You could change into the bear, and then now you pull the bear off. You can basically set your guy back here just as a reminder which form you are if you need to. Then now you're using the bear, and the bear will have different stuff to do, and different bonuses and negatives. And then at the beginning of your turn, you can transform back, or you can transform straight from the bear into the eagle if you want. You don't always have to transform back into your main hero, which is really cool. So we're just I'm just going to set these guys off to the side just to unobscure the text. And then your skills that you're going to gain are going to be based on them as well. We'll look at them in a second. So the eagle has, when you transform, you can do peck and roll 1 orange die. Deal wounds equal to the number of swords in the enemy in a magic range. So every time you transform, you also get to do a special effect as well, plus whatever their character card might say when you transform back into them. So depending on which direction you're transforming, you can get different effects as well. And the eagle also says it can't do recovery actions, trade actions, interact, or open doors. So it can move around, it can attack, but that's about all it can do. The bear, on the other hand, has roar. You may move one enemy in a magic range 1 zone. So you can either bring them towards you or scare them away. It can't do recovery, and it only has 1 movement point per move action, so it doesn't get to move as much. But it can still attack, it can open doors and interact with stuff, because it has hands. This kind of thing, the eagle doesn't have hands to do all that stuff. And then if you do the raccoon, they have assist. Each hero in magic range gains 1 MP, but it can't recover or attack. So this is more about he gets to run around and help everybody out. Maybe run in, interact with an object to open a door, interact with like whatever tokens on the board, trading item. But you can't attack, and you can't. None of them can recover. You have to go back to your main character to recover actions. So if you want to attack, so attacking's eagle, bear's kind of defense, and raccoon's like assist. It's sort of how they all work. All right, so we're gonna slide that out of the way. Put our camera back up, and then we're going to look at our abilities. So we're going to start with Tenacity, level 1. And now on here, it's going to show an animal. So this is going to show the bear. So you have to be the bear to use this ability. So at any time you can spend 2 bear points. If it is the enemy phase, choose 1 mob in range. You count as the closest hero to that mob. So basically, you're taunting them towards you. So then what you do is you put this underneath the bear layer in bear form. What's also neat about these is they flip over. So on the bottom here, I'm going to show a picture of the raccoon. So if you change into the raccoon, you just flip this over. And then now you can move that over to, if you turn into the raccoon, you turn this over, now you have the raccoon ability. Which gives you spend one hero in the druid zone gains 1 MP, or spend 2 to perform 1 free trade action. So this is actually a very neat aspect of the way this works, because most other characters, when you get their skills, you put them under like a specific, maybe like tree or a specific area, like deals with your board. Then they stay there. That's where they are from now on. These ones are gonna move around a bunch depending on what animal you turn into. So you kind of switch back and forth. It's not like, oh, if I want to get the raccoon one, I have to take the raccoon one. Nope, you just switch these around because the ability cards also transform. So we have like tenacity level 3, tenacity 2. It says bear, spend 2. If the enemy phase, choose 1 mob in range. You count as that closest mob, and then defense +2. So we're gonna look at the other bear ones. Basically, they're the same ones. They just keep gaining bonuses. And it also says defense 1, you can reroll and gain 2 shields. So then if we went with the upgraded raccoon version, we have spend 2 to perform 1 free trade, or they can gain 2 mana. And then level 3, they can gain the 2 mana or perform 1 free trade action with all heroes within range. So these guys are really good at getting items around the board. Then we have Savagery 1. The Eagle can spend 1 point to add 2 swords. Savagery 2, it can also pay 1 to ignore 1 defense dice. Or it can pay 2 to add 2 swords, pay 1 to add another sword, and then pay a third one to ignore 2 defense. So it can definitely go crazy there. Then on the other side of that is, of course, we're going to have a bear. So he'll have spend 1 to ignore 1 slash. The defender suffers instead of you. Spend up to 2 for each one spent. You may ignore that many slashes, and then they take the damage. Or spend up to 3. Now, like, it's up to, so you can only spend what you need to spend. Then our third one is we start with the raccoon's nimbleness. So spend 3 during a move, you do not take reaction damage, so you can get away from guys. She still has that reaction one at the bottom. Now it also says, bring another hero with you. Both take reaction damage. So either you can move by yourself and not take it, or you can have somebody else come with you, but you're both going to take damage if you have to. Or we have Nimbleness 3. Spend 1 to move, bring another hero with you, both take damage. Or spend 2, heroes do not take reactionary damage during this turn. So you get some good options there for helping, also moving your characters around. And then Nimbleness with our Eagle has spend 2 to move 1 zone and perform an attack. Move 1 zone, perform an attack and ignoring 1 shield. Or move up to 2 zones, perform an attack, ignoring 2 shields. So yes, it's definitely a cool way to do that. They get so you kind of also now instead of having just 3 different things, you actually are gonna always have at least 6 if you buy 3 of them. So you kind of have to kind of debate what way works the best, and you're gonna want to be switching back and forth. Our next level ones is we have Hide Armor. So these are just kind of ones that just sit out there and work. So we have, if you have nothing equipped on armor, gain reroll during defense, gain reroll a die and +2 defense. Hide Armor 2, you get reroll and +4 defense. Our next one is we have Nature's Blessing. It says after transforming to your original form, increase the animal track of your form you left by 1. And then the level 2 version of it says increase the form left by 2. Alright, so those are your regular ones you're going to get in the main game. Now, if you have the Heavenfall campaign set, you can play up to level 10 instead of only level 5. And you're going to gain bonus skills. So the secondary skills, the Hide Armor and Nature's Blessing, I'll go up to number 3 at level 6. It says if you have nothing equipped, you're also going to be getting reroll +4 and +2 green die. So the green die, and there's green and red dice that get added to the campaign. They're for higher level characters. Basically, the green is a better defense die. And then Nature's Blessings, 3rd version, says after you transform, increase the track by 3. And we are also going to upgrade our original abilities. So we have Tenacity, version 4. Spend 2 for your bear. If the enemy is near enemy space, choose 1 mob. You count closest to that mob. But now you have defense 1. You can reroll and gain 3 shields. Or defense spend 2 to deal 3 wounds to the attacker. If we flip it over to the raccoon side, instead you can have spend 1. Each hero in magic range gains 2 mana. Or spend 2 to perform 1 free trade action with all heroes in the range. Then the new one is spend 3 to discard 1 item and draw 1 treasure of the same rarity to become little thieves. Savagery, level Savagery 4. So now we have spend 2 to gain 3 swords, spend 1 to gain 2 swords, or spend 1 to ignore 2 defense dice. As our eagle, our bear's savagery says spend up to 3 bears for each spend, ignore that many claws. The defender suffers that damage instead of you. And then you can also spend 3 during your attack to double the wounds dealt. Then we have Nimbleness 4. Move, bring another hero with you. You both take reaction damage. Move 2. Heroes do not take reactionary damage during this move, or move 1. After moving, each hero in your zone heals 1. So that's pretty nice. Free heal. And then the Eagle's Nimbleness is spend 2 on your action to move up to 3 zones, perform an attack ignoring 2 damage and 2 claws. Alright, so you get upgraded versions for each of them. You're also going to get hybrid effects for the campaign. Or hybrid skills. So you have Fierce Eagle. Now each one of these is attributed to one of the classes, but they require level 4 in 2 of the main ones. So basically, if you want to get these hybrid ones, this works a lot more like the skill trees do even more in the other games, because so now basically you're going to probably have to ignore getting your secondary skills to just focus on getting these guys up to level 4. Because this is 8 points right there. If you gain 1 skill every level, that'd be, you'd only have 9 skills. So yeah, this is basically, you have to spend a lot. So you hit level 9, you could get this. If you just went Savagery and Nimbleness and you didn't go for any of the other stuff, you could level this up to a Fierce Eagle, which says attack. Spend 1 of each symbol. This is the only ways you can ever spend symbols outside of the class you're in, or the transformation you're in. You can ignore up to 2 slashes and add 1 fire for each slash that is ignored. If we do the bears, we have the Mighty Bear, which requires Tenacity and Savagery at level 4. Spend 1 of each. Roll the shadow dice for each sword rolled, gain 1 defense. If the shadow is rolled, get to roll an extra green and blue die. Nice. And then our Swift Raccoon, which requires Nimbleness and Tenacity at 4. Add 1 frost to each enemy in magic range. I'm not really sure why frost has to do anything with the raccoon, maybe, but still definitely neat. So there's different things. And then finally, when you hit we do have another option, so you also get another brand new skill. So if you don't want to go for those guys, and you want to play around with something new, we have a brand new one. We have natural growth, which you can learn at level 8. Max 1 health, and then after you transform, heal 2. And that has a second version, which is max 3 health, and after you transform, heal 3. Then the final things we're going to get are level 10 abilities. As you hit max level, you can get Primal Shape. After you transform to your original form, gain 2 mana and choose one of your animal form skills, only one side. During this round, you may use that skill in your original form by paying mana instead of a thing. So that's actually cool. So you can basically turn back to your regular form and you can use your special abilities. Or every single character will have a Lightbringer Ascension card. I don't know if they're all exactly the same or not off the top of my head, but everyone gets one of these. It says, you roll purple the shadow dice in light zones. You can't use your shadow skill effects in light zone. Instead, you gain shadow after combat. You may transform. Yeah, so it's all going to be a little bit different, but it's going to let you roll that purple dice no matter what when you hit level 10, which gets you extra swords or mana or whatever. But if you get that, also going to let you use a special ability for that character, which is really cool. Alright, so now we've looked at all of those, let's re-look at their abilities. So Burko has Transformation. When you transform into him, you can increase any of your animal form by 2, so this will help you spend them. And then if you roll that Shadow Dice, you may use your Transformation effect of any form. So basically when you're playing as him, it lets you use your form of whatever is available. And then Zuri's was Transformation. You may return 1 discarded potion to your inventory, which doesn't change much, except it's going to let you use them, mana or health potions repeatedly. You just have to keep transforming. And then Shadow, increase each animal form tracked by 1 and gain 1 mana. So it definitely help that way. So you turn back, you can do that. Sometimes it might be helpful to stay as your humanoid form for a turn or two, just to help get that track up quicker. Then that way when you do change into one of the animals, you can bump them up a lot. You can use your skills more than one or two turns in a row. Alright, so that was all of our skills and our new heroes. The other thing we're going to add before we get to the villains is we're going to have our Shadowbane set. So these are your set items. Now, if you watch the original Hellscape video for this, when we did get to the item cards, we did bring these up. So there are sets of 5 items. There's helmet, greaves, armor, and accessory. So there's the main 4 equipment slots, and then each character gets a specific weapon. Or a specific item, I should say. They don't always have, I think the base game, everyone gets a weapon, but it might not always be that. But if you have 2 of the Shadowbane sets items, you gain the first ability, and if you get 4 of them, you gain the second ability. So they have minor power, spend 1 mana to increase each animal form tracked by 2, except your current form once per round. If you get all 4, it just lets you increase each animal by 2. This will definitely, if you collect those items, it'll let you just boost them up super fast so you can use them a lot more. Although it's going to be better for one character than the other, because one of them has 2 mana and one has 3. It's a little bit different. And then we're going to get the Druid Sparkling Amulet. Can be equipped in the amulets or the hand slot, even when equipping a two-handed item. This is kind of nice they did that, because otherwise you'd be having to you'd have to choose between that, so you could technically have 5 set items, because you put this in a hand slot. When transforming, you trigger your transformation effects twice, so that's super powerful. Then, if we played the Heavenfall campaign set, the big expansion, we are also going to get the Hellfire and the Dawnbringer sets. So to use these, you could use these otherwise. So if you didn't get that, you could include these into there. Except for the problem is, these two are both legendaries, so I don't think there's any way to access legendary equipment outside of the campaign set. But if you do your own house rules, you can always use these anyhow, or just give them to your character as a bonus. But now they have so a couple different things. So it's going to have, if you have minor power, if you have 2 set items, greater power if you have 4 set items, or Hellfire Flames if you have 2 set items as well. So it says discard 2 fire from yourself, transform 1 per round. So if you get set on fire, you get to get rid of them items. You can discard 1 fire from yourself to transform. So otherwise, resolve your fire at the end of your turn instead of at the start of your turn. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. So you get to resolve them things. So you basically get hit with that damage ahead of time. If you need to. Then he's going to have the Druid's Flaming Earrings, or Flame Earrings, can be equipped into a single slot. Take 1 fire, increase the animal form track by 2 once per round. So basically you're going to want to work with this with your set. So if you just have this by itself, you're going to keep getting that fire damage, but if you can use it with the other ones, to set them, you can actually use them to help transform a lot quicker. And then we have the Darkbringer. Darkbringer's shadow ability may be triggered instead of the hero's regular shadow ability. So it says Darkbringer's shadow, it says increase your animal form track by 3. And it says Darkbringer's shadow ability may be triggered in addition. So it's basically Darkbringer wants you to play off being in the light. Or being in the darkness and using your darkness abilities. So it's definitely fun there. Just gives you a little bit extra gameplay. And then the Druid's Runic Ring. Shadow action, use a transformation effect of any other form. So they really play off letting you use them transformation effects a lot more. They're definitely helpful and fun. Alright, then the last thing we're going to have for this video is our roaming monster. So we'll have a big old roaming monster card here. So we're going to have the level 1 to 2, the 3 to 4, and the 5, just like we would in the Hellscape base set. But then now if you get the Heavenfall campaign as well, we can upgrade the play against the level 6, 7, 8, 9, or level 10 version. So basically just you're playing that campaign mode. Since you're carrying stuff over from set to set, and you can go up to level 10, you're going to gain some more effects. So here's Beelzebub. There's his mini. Let's read what his card does, and we'll look at his mini a little bit closer. So he has 5 health per player, 2 treasures, 1 set rare, 2 blue dice, 1 black dice for defense. When attacking, Beelzebub gains 1 sword for each swarm token on it. So he's going to have a set of 6 swarm tokens. For each wound a hero would deal to Beelzebub, they may remove 1 swarm token instead. If the hero is in line of sight, Beelzebub attacks the closest hero in line of sight. Otherwise, place a swarm token on Beelzebub, then Beelzebub moves 2 zones towards the closest hero and attacks him if possible. And if combat hero is a hand, place 1 swarm token on Beelzebub. So basically, you're going to use these 6 tokens as defense to absorb extra attacks. But if he's away from him, he's going to keep gaining them. So if you don't keep hitting him, and you're like, oh, we have to run away, and you get away from him, he's going to keep gaining more and more tokens. Otherwise, he gets to roll 1 yellow, 1 black for close range. And then if he's at far range, you just do 1 and 3. So basically, you want to get up next to him and bash him as hard as possible. So you keep them swarm tokens from appearing, and so he can't use his more devastating range, because if he rolls in 3 black dice, he's going to have more of a chance of getting that hand. which would keep adding more of them swarm tokens on him. Alright, his next forms or his level up, he's just going to gain some more health and just some better dice. Otherwise, all the rest of the stuff should stay the same. And the same thing for his level 5 version. Just now he has 2, 2, and 3, or 3 and 3 dice. He has 10 health per player, 4 defensive, 3 black dice. He's going to keep them swarms coming. Now, when we look at the upgraded 6 to 7, all his effects for his movement, all that stay the same, which is really nice. When they upgrade these, they're just upgrading the dice and the stats. You don't have to keep reading the cards over and over, trying to figure out, oh, this adds 2 swarm now instead of 1. Once you start playing them once, he's always going to play the same. But now they just start rolling these green and red dice, which are even more powerful. More defense symbols on there, or more attack symbols. I think the red one doesn't even have any misses on it. So it's 12 health. It goes up to the next one, gets 16 health per player. A lot more dice. And then his final level 10, so if you're fighting the ultimate version, 18 health per hero. And 2, 2, and 3, or 3, 3, and 3. Yeah, so definitely fun. Extra thing, plus 18 health per thing. These level 10 guys start acting more like almost just below a regular boss. Alright, so let's look at his miniature here. He's a big giant beetle guy. Moth, I guess. It's just swarm. I love the little detailed patterns on there. Oh, oh, oh. Caught him. I almost dropped him off the table. I also love when they use like things like the wings or capes or tails to make them look like they're floating a bit. That's a really cool effect. Alright, so that was Beelzebub. And if you want to add him to the game, you just pick whatever pile you're playing. So if you're only playing the regular one, you just shuffle these into those decks. There you go. Nothing extra special to it. Alright, so that was our Heroes and Monster set, Druids and Beelzebub. So if you are looking for a new roaming monster to fight, or you're looking for some new characters to play, they do have a little bit, Druids have a little bit more advanced tactics than the base heroes, just because you have to pay attention to how your cards are facing, and you're doing more pulling stuff on and off the board than maybe some of the other characters. A little bit more management, I guess. But definitely fun. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.